everyone. Welcome to Unspoken Topics, and I'm your host, Shakeem. Today we have two special guests that, we're going to get in some things with. I'm going to start from my left. Is that my left? Yes, my left. And you're going to introduce yourself, and then you're going to come back all the way this way, so that way they can. All right, we're going to start with you, Mom.
Hi, everyone. My name is Summer Haire.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mykera Haire.
Woo! Thank you guys so much. So, with Miss Summer, we're gonna start off with telling me a fun fact about yourself, or tell the people about you.
About me.
Yeah, a fun fact. Just tell.
A fun fact about me is every cat that I get, I have to name them after a spice. Oh. So I've had cinnamon and ginger, and sage.
Okay, how about you, Mykera? What's a fun fact about you?
A fun fact about me is that I love to watch psychological horror movies.
Oh, I
don't know why. They're just so fascinating.
Okay. All right, so on this segment, we have, on this podcast, we have a segment called Unspoken Advice, where I will, read some questions for you, and then you're going to give them your honest advice. Does that sound good for you guys? Mm-hmm. All right, so the first question is it important to have a role model, and why?
Yes. Reason why I think it's important to have a role model is because, it's basically you don't try to be them, but they actually give you show you the guidance or the way, especially when it's someone that actually been through things similar that you've been through in life, and they also made a way for themselves. They're not struggling or stuck where they were, and they always find a way to
build themselves.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, all right. How about you, Mom? Summer. So sorry.
I know it's important to have a role model. Just when you look at, sometimes you can have a parent who's not the best parent, they're out doing things that people shouldn't be doing. Right. And if you're not exposed to something else, a different way of living, you can follow that path, and then you're not breaking the generation curse. Ooh. So it's okay, my mom did this, and that's all I know. So now I'm gonna follow that, which is my children are gonna follow that, and then
they just keep going. Yeah, that is true. Going. I like that one. All right, the second question is, and it's a funny question. That's why I chose it. Is how often should you shower?
Well, I think number one is shower every day, but number two, it should be based off what you do in your life. If you're a construction worker, you're going to shower in the morning before work, shower when you get home. If you're a person that work out a lot, you should shower, after you work out. It depends on your activity. Now, there are times on the weekend when you're just laying around, you might not get as funky. Right. But I think if, those 2 days that on the weekend, you should at least shower one of those days.
How about you, Mike?
I agree.
Okay. All right. Sounds great. So the third question is, when it comes to your emotion, do you let yourself feel them? Why or why not?
Well, I am an emotional person, really, really emotional. So I'm trying to grow out of it, but I tend to act on my emotions. So I tend to let my emotion become my personality, I want to say. Okay. So that's something I'm actually working on, because it's actually not good, especially being an adult. You can't act like a child as an adult, So now that I'm getting older and stuff, I'm trying to find ways where I can not hide my emotion, but ways to just be able to function as an adult while going through something emotional. How they say don't bring your drama to work or something like that. Knowing how it's something going on at home, I can't bring that energy to work, or I can't bring that energy out with my family or out with my friends, even though I'm going through something. So just right now, I do kind of still act in my emotions, but as I've been going to speaking to the doctors and stuff and trying to find other ways to cope and other ways to handle my emotions. So
okay, how about you, Miss Summer?
I don't know, because I think it really again is one of those situational things. There are times where you just have to act on emotion, and there are times when sometimes it's not best to act on emotions because you're not going to make the best decision.
Right.
You know,
That's
and
true.
there have been times where I've been placed in a situation where I've acted on emotions, and then after the fact, I'm like, damn.
I shouldn't
If I
have
would
done
have
that.
just
Right.
put that to the side, I would
Right.
have made a better decision. But like I said, it's situational because sometimes you just really
Just don't know.
You
just
can't make the
in
best
time.
decision because of your emotions.
That is true. Okay. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed those advice that they just gave you guys. Okay, so now let's jump into things. So the topic for this week is working in corporate as an African American. And the reason why I chose this topic is, it's Black History Month. And, as African Americans and Black people, we need to celebrate ourselves. So we're going to talk about our workplace. So the first question, are you guys excited about it? Woo! So the first question is, how is it working in corporate America as an African American?
It's Kara talking, y'all. Working. All right, so I had two corporate jobs and I had one nonprofit job. The nonprofit job was mainly, it was really basically Black people. So I was more comfortable working there. But my first real corporate job was at Liberty Mutual back in 2018. And it took a minute for me to adapt because Liberty Mutual actually was a little bit diverse. So there was African Americans, there were Asians, Hispanics. So it was really diverse, and it was easy for me to, gravitate towards certain co-workers and stuff like that. The only thing about where I'm working now, which is Ann, it's really not that diverse. They're actually just trying to get diverse, and I came into
a lot of companies are doing that though.
Yeah,
like now they're
trying to
yeah.
So I and that makes me not think that it's like genuine. Like,
True.
What are you getting? Like,
right. They're just doing it for just to just a show.
Yeah, because it's 2023, and come on, if you're not diverse, if you wasn't diverse before,
then why now?
Yeah,
right.
Why are you trying to change the culture?
Yeah, but with Aeon, I can say that is every time I go in the office twice out of a week, and I really feel uncomfortable unless I came into the job through an apprentice program, so unless my cohort is there, I don't feel comfortable. Like I don't.
Right.
It's really hard. It's hard, and a lot of people, they don't speak, they stare, and I don't like that. I had someone that moved her seat entirely away from me. Like, yeah. So, like, it's just...
It's not it.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Jesus. How about you, Mom?
I think it's... So, for instance, if I had to give up an instance, I would say it's more being a Black woman in corporate America. Our voices are not heard. So, for instance, when I'm in meetings, I take notes in meetings, just for my own personal thing. But I can tell you, I don't really speak up at meetings. And it's not that I don't speak up because I don't feel like I have a voice. I don't speak up because it's like I'm going to say a stereotype attached to us. The more we speak, it's like, oh, she's combative, or she always got something. It's like,
negative.
So I make sure I speak when I have a valid point, which I feel like, others in corporate America, they can speak up and people say, oh, you have so much to offer. Whereas like when we speak up, it's like, if I say, well, we've been doing this for 6 months and it's not working, let's try X, Y, Z.
Right.
And then get to the next meeting and somebody say the same thing. And it's like,
oh,
y'all
that's
didn't
a great
go with
idea,
me.
Right.
But now Kevin said it. And it's like
oh
this
my
great
God,
idea.
great
And Kevin is the best.
yeah.
And now he's getting promoted. And so that's one of the biggest things I feel like in corporate America. Our voices are not heard. Even if we do talk, then it's like, oh, she always has something to say, or it's not looked at as something that we want to entertain at this moment.
Right.
and things like that. But there are a lot of microaggressions in corporate America, and that's one.
That is so true too.
I feel like that's the new form of newest form of racism.
Because it's just like it's not there, but we're gonna sneak it right in and just like do a little bit, but we're not gonna do too much, so you can't complain to HR and say, I'm being discriminated against. No,
and it's a way to make you look crazy.
Exactly.
Like for instance, we had a white woman that was leaving. And this one white woman was like, "Oh, we're going to tie you to your chair so you can't go anywhere." Okay, that's cute. But now the black woman leaving, she said, "Yeah, we're going to get a ball and chain." And I'm like,
"You're lying."
Ball and chain? Isn't that what y'all put on slaves when y'all ain't want them to run away? And so the black woman didn't pick up on it, but I said it. And she was like, "You know what? You're absolutely right." I said, "Yeah, why was it tying that one to the chair? But you getting the ball and chain like you're her personal property and you're going to stay here." And, that's what I'm saying. We open our mouths and then...
Yeah, it's a problem.
But then... when she did, because she went to her and addressed the comment, it was like, well, I didn't mean it like that. I said, she did mean it like that, because she could have said the same thing. Just like we tied her to the chair, we can tie you to the chair.
Right.
But why was it a ball and chain?
Or we can close the door, you won't leave. Why are we tying people?
Or like somebody walked in her office and told them they was going to throw cotton at her. Why are you going to throw cotton at her? But then you can say, oh, it was going to throw some cotton. So it doesn't look like out and out racism. Look like we're sitting here, we're in our
joking
feelings,
around, right?
And we're just miserable, and we just want to look at every little thing that's said.
Wow. Well, we need to grow up, people. All right. So the second question I have for you guys is: have you ever faced discrimination before, and how did you go about dealing with it?
Kira,
I feel like not to my face, like I told you, like, you go into the office and people stare, they don't speak and stuff like that. I actually met with another black woman at my company, and I was asking her about a coworker. I asked her opinion, like, how did she make you feel, like, how did she treat you? I met this lady when I first started working there, and, like, that first day she spoke to me. Then ever since then, she kind of, like, walked past us and turned her head, like snobby kind of like. So, but to my face, or I don't think so. No, never felt discrimination.
Never either.
I don't think it's blatant, but then we live in Philly, so Philly is like I said, underhanded racism. I just know there are times when people that look like me discriminate against me more than those who don't. Because I feel like they look at it and like, oh, it's only room at the top for one person to come. Right. And so I'm going to try my best to keep you down.
Right. And why do you think is that, though? Because I heard that before and I've seen it before, but why do you think, like, as African Americans, we try to put each other down versus lift people up? Because, like, lift each other up. Because if you do, like, the Asian community, like, they work for each other. No problem. So. The other cultures,
the Hispanics,
right? Yeah. They all just try to lift each other up, no matter what. Like if one is empowered, there's another one right behind them. But when it comes to us, it's just like we want to show that, oh, I'm better than you. Why is that?
Yeah, I feel like it goes back to slavery, like just making the massa happy. Oh, I'm the good one. Pick me, massa. Like, if you think about it. Because, like, but again, if you go back to slavery, they said that the Africans sold us to, like, it's always, we was the only culture that was never united.
True.
So that's why it was so easy to enslave us. So it's really deep rooted inside the black culture, or even the African culture, because that's who we come from, Right. So it's like, I don't know. I don't have no answer for that.
That's true.
But it's throughout your whole life you will see that.
That's true.
I'm with Kara. Like, it's embedded in us, and it's something that we have to work on as a community, as a people, And it's going to be hard because some people are really going to stick to that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they come in to the office or wherever, and that's their goal. Like I want to be. Speaking for instance, we have a older man at work, and that's how he is. Mm-hmm. He'll go in the boss's office and snitch on all the people that look like him. And he actually had an awakening because he thought that he was going to get this raise. Like, I'm doing this and this and that.
Before you even go on, let's address that. Right there that you just said that, like, you're going to, no matter what you do in life, if you're going to tell on your brother and your sister thinking that they're going to choose you over them, they will never do that. Like, they see you the same way they see us. So you doing all that is a waste of time. But go on. Carry on.
And like you said, you know, they're going to use you. He came in, he said he wanted some extra money, and they told him who he was. Ooh. There's no extra money for you. You got to go about a different way to get extra money.
Right.
Telling on people that look like you just...
It's not going to work.
I mean, it's the culture of us and them. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they already see you for what you are. You know, these people was born with a handbook.
Come on, somebody.
We got to figure it out. They got the handbook. They already know how you're going to act. They already know us. They know us better than we know ourselves as a people. Mm-hmm. So he thought he was in.
But he wasn't.
No.
Little did you know, buddy.
Yeah. Then he went in there and started taking stuff out of his office. Ooh, they're scared.
So sorry. All right. So the third question I have for you guys is, have you ever faced a situation where you have to work harder than your white counterpart?
That's on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm. And how
that's even for, celebrities in the industry. They got to work harder.
That's true.
We always got to prove ourselves.
Yeah.
Try
and
to
even
like
that,
you notice we're the only culture that has to code switch or adapt to our surroundings. We can't come as ourselves. Not saying if you understand like how we act at, like, nobody should act like that at work, how they act at home. But you know what I'm saying? We have to code switch. We have to carry ourselves a certain way and things like that. We actually, that's a skill, to be able to code switch, to be able to do things like that. That's a skill. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, like, that's just basically how it is to be black in America. Mm-hmm. You really have to prove yourself. You have to prove your worth. Nobody's coming in and saying, oh, we know you're, like, you have to actually show them. And they be like, oh, you know, you might have a white counterpart trying to take what you created and make it as theirs, which is always happens. In America, you know. White inventors take black inventors' stuff.
That is true. So. I would say, though, when I used to work at CVS as a manager, I remember I told myself, because I heard that when I first started my onset, she was like, you know, you have to, in this position that you're in right now, you have to constantly, like, prove yourself. Like, they're going to constantly need verification from you that you can do what you're supposed to do or what they hired you to do. And I remember I told myself, you see, after my 90 days, I'm not proving nothing. Like, if it's not good enough for you, oh, well. Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry, because at the end of the day, I clocked in and I'm getting paid. So, I don't know. And they have tried it. They have, back to the micromanagement thing, where I had, we're managers. We're both managers. And for some reason, I don't know why she thought that, you know, she was my boss. But, you know, I have to quickly remind her that you're not. So it kind of bring, like, friction on, like, the management team. Because you could tell, because you know me, I'm not going to sit down here and let you talk to me like you go. So... She kept, like, everything was like, oh, no, you have to do it this way. Oh, no, you have to do it that way. No, you don't count this way. Oh, you don't make the schedule this way. And I'm sitting there looking at her like, that's crazy. Like, I don't like, what is wrong with you? Like, I'm so sorry. Are you my boss? You're not my boss. Like, relax.
I had this girl, she's a coworker of mine. She actually just started in August. Mm-hmm. And the same coworker I was telling you about that, smoked one day and kept Sabi. She actually is on her team. And they went out, when you're a new employee there, they take you out to eat. They took her out to eat, and she had the nerve to try to teach her table etiquette. And she was like, I'm a mother of 3. Right. I'm 28 years old. I know how to sit and behave at a table.
Right.
That's crazy. When she told me that, I'm like, I know exactly who you're talking about.
But why? I feel like people like that, they're bored. And they just don't have a life outside of work.
And they think their way is the only way.
Yeah. Because it don't make... Because even... the girl that I was talking about, she doesn't have literally doesn't have a life out of work. And I feel bad for her because she used to be clocking in 24/7, and I'm like, girl, you were here from 7 o'clock till 12 a.m. in the morning, and you do that 3 times in a row. And at the end of the day, they still didn't give you your job. But it's whatever. Anyway, to the next topic. What advice... the next question is, what advice do you have for someone who is entering corporate America?
Go ahead.
The first thing I would say when you're entering corporate America, especially if you're coming to a place that's really not diverse, is you're going to feel uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to work a little harder just to get the recognition that you really need to get, which sucks for us. And it sucks that we have to tell each other things like this when starting out in corporate or starting out in the job period, that we have to say, oh, you have to prove yourself, just like we were just talking about. Mm-hmm. Don't be afraid to speak up. Now, the reason why I say that is I spoke up about the situations that just recently occurred in my job, but I didn't speak up to my manager or nothing like that. I found someone else that was higher up, but she was also a black woman. I found her, and we had a little meeting and stuff, and I basically told her the things that I was going through. And it's really hard when you're coming into a place that's mainly white. It's really hard to find, to
break that culture that they have.
Yes. And having to adapt, which I also just said, we have to code switch, we have to adapt, we have to do all this stuff just to fit in, basically fit in.
Right.
So, I did have someone on my team that was a black woman as well. She actually helped. But yeah, basically join the black professional networks. If your corporate job have those type of professional networks, I joined one. It gets me more involved, with all the black people that's in my company, the people that's in Chicago, New York. Just not even just in Philadelphia. So things like that, but don't be afraid to speak up, voice your opinion, because they will make you feel as though your opinion doesn't matter. They will make you feel like your voices doesn't matter. But just try, just do
Meanwhile,
it.
Meanwhile, it does, because then they steal your idea.
Exactly, they'll steal your idea.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. They try to get in your head and see what you learn and make it their own. But the same thing Kira said, all of that, plus join a diversity. If they have a diversity team or something, like she said, that's one of the best things you could join, because even though I'm just speaking from my company where I work, I don't feel like they take it serious.
Right.
It's still just a good way to get, together and at least try to make some changes. And also, every place is not for us, So you get in there, you see some crap going on. I don't care if it's $150,000 a year.
You gotta go.
Because
it's not worth it at the end.
I'm sorry, money is not going to keep me in a bad situation. Because a lot of that is what's going on now. You got these companies that's hiring people, and then people are saying I'm being told that my team is uncomfortable. Why is my team uncomfortable? Oh, I know why my team is uncomfortable. Oh, yeah. Because I'm speaking up. Like I said before, I'm speaking up, and now people are taking it as hostile, especially when you're a black woman. You know what I mean? You get the angry black woman.
They want you to be seen and not heard.
Yeah, and it's you don't want to tell somebody all the negative things about corporate. But I mean,
it's just truth in the red. Because I had I had to sit down and it was very. I had to talk before. My aunt sat me down. She told me, she was like, "Hey, this is what to expect. This is what not to expect." Blah 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 blah. So it's not basically just negativity, but it's just the truth of what you're going to face. Yeah. And I'm the type of person like, okay, well, that happened to you. It's not going to happen to me. But in this situation, it didn't really happen, but you see it. You're like, oh, I see what she's talking about. Oh, that's what they're doing. Oh, and then that conversation, if I didn't have that conversation, I wouldn't see those actions that she was talking about. Versus now that I see it, I know how to handle it. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to fall for your trap. Because some of them are really they're sick, and they will try to do things to let you lose your job because they don't want you there because of the color of your skin, which don't make any sense.
That's what my mom first told me when I got in corporate. She's like, you can't do what the your white counterparts do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so calling out, you got to come to work sick when they can. Child, they'll have a baby.
Okay.
Let me stop. They'll have a baby, and everybody be like, "Oh, take as much time as you need."
Right.
You have a baby, you got to come to work, baby head hanging out, and tell them, "Look, the baby's coming out." Like, I'm being extra,
Yeah, no,
but it's
that's
like that's how it
actually
is for
true.
That's what it
us.
is, yeah.
Like,
This
we
girl-
really have to come to work sick in order to get sent home.
This
I'm
girl
sick
that's
of
my
saying.
coworker had a concussion. They told her she had to prove everything
Mm-hmm.
and all this. They even when she came in with the doctor's note, they still was upset that she had to work from home. They were like, "No, you need to come in and stuff like." Yeah,
No.
like it's crazy.
Yeah.
We just don't, you know,
Yeah, we don't do it.
whole story.
Oh, it's so sad. Well, that's all the questions I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for joining me today.
Thanks
it
for
was
having
really
us.
Yes, thank you.
it was really nice. We talked about a lot. I hope you guys learned a lot. Because it's some real crazy people out there. But you know, there's ways to avoid them. And just stick to what you know and don't change for anyone. Especially when you were raised right.
Yep.
Yeah, because no one has time for that. Well, thank you guys so much. And you guys that are at home listening, please go on I was about to say Gmail, my Instagram, and like, follow, and subscribe. Share it to a friend, tell another friend, tell her to tell her friend, and tell her to share it to her baby daddy. You know, just share it out there. Until next time, thank you guys so much, and goodbye.
Bye.